Hey everyone, I'm Jay Shear and welcome to Business Minds Coffee Chat. The goal of this show is to share insights, help to lift and inspire others, and deliver practical, meaningful, and actionable content. As business leaders, we manage a lot of responsibilities. We're constantly on the go, making decisions, putting out fires, and driving hard to achieve our goals and grow our business. This can certainly be stressful. On this episode, we're going to be talking with a subject matter expert about transforming stress into success while achieving more confidence, clarity and focus, motivation, better results, and more freedom. Our guest today earned his MBA from the University of Miami and was a member of the 1981 Peach Bowl championship team alongside quarterback Jim Kelly. He's an executive coach, speaker, and author of the best-selling book, 5-Minute Mastery. He launched his coaching business following a successful 30-plus year career as a managing partner and CPA in one of the world's largest accounting and consulting firms. He's a certified success principles trainer, a certified brain management consultant, and a black belt in Tai Chi. He's guided thousands of executives through live, in-person, and virtual keynotes, seminars, and retreats. Please welcome the founder of John J. Fenton and the CEO sensei himself, John Fenton.
Great. Thanks for Jay. Thanks for a wonderful introduction. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, John, I'm so excited about our conversation today, and I'm grateful for you being here. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So let's dive in. What I'd love for you to do first is please share where your story begins, John, and I'd be interested to find out what you had envisioned for your career at an early age.
That's a great question. So there are so many, I have many Genesis stories, if you will. But I think early on, I really had no vision for my career really as a young person. But I had some things happen in my life that helped kind of shape the direction of my life. And along the way, as we grow, as we mature, we learn things and we kind of find our way or find our path. And early on, I was not very athletic at all. And junior high school was really a kind of a pivotal point in my life where I was challenged. I was challenged to look at myself and consider, think differently about myself. And really, it was a physical challenge. And we had physical education every day in school back then. I know a lot of schools don't anymore. And we had literally had an obstacle course we had to overcome. At the very end of the obstacle course was a green wall, and I could not get over that wall. And I was not very athletic at all. I'd never really participated in any kind of sports very much. It was too heavy for my age group to play football. It was like 30 pounds heavier than all the other kids in my age group. They wouldn't let me play with the older kids, and I really just wasn't interested anyway. So I didn't play any kind of organized football or anything. And I really struggled to get over that wall. And there was an epiphany moment where one of the boys said something to a group of boys. We were kind of categorized in platoons almost in phys ed, and I was in the lowest performing group, and something struck me that day that I said, that's not me. It's not who I am. I'm better than that. And so I just challenged myself to go way outside my comfort zone and to tackle that wall, to accomplish and complete that obstacle course, and to win the President's Physical Fitness Award, which was a big thing in our school then. They used to paint the presidential seal on the side of the building every year that they won the most awards in the county. And so we were very proud of that fact. And so it was very competitive, right? A lot of great athletes there. And so I just chose that, that doesn't define me. And I am worthy. And so I just started to change my life. And I used to whine and complain and run way in the back of the group and complain about running and exercise and everything. And I just chose to start running near the front of the group. and to push myself outside my comfort zone. And I was successful. I accomplished. I got over that wall. I lived right across the street from the school. I practiced it every weekend. I was focused, and I was also focused on winning that award, which I did a year and a half later. I won the gold award and the presidential patch that you get for your sweater. And that seems like not a big deal, but it really was a big deal for me because it shifted my view of myself. It gave me confidence. And looking back on it, and you mentioned Success Principles trainer, looking back on it, what I've learned later in life is that I was very focused. I was unwavering in my desire to achieve that goal. I may not have achieved it, but I was unwavering in my desire to achieve that and did the work to get there. It was persistent and never gave up, and got into athletics. And I really did well in football, actually, in high school. It was the first time I actually played any football. And I played multiple sports in high school and lettered in all of them. Football really just seemed to come naturally to me, and I loved it. And I loved the discipline of it and the team camaraderie and being a part of a team. And we were very successful. We were very successful, and I was highly recruited and went on to play major college football at the University of Miami. And I had many opportunities to go lots of different places, and I chose to stay closer to home because I grew up in South Florida. But that whole series of events over 9 years or 10 years of my life really made a big difference and enabled me to go to college and to earn not 1 degree but 2 degrees. And while I was in school, by the time I got to college, I figured out I wanted to be in business, but I wasn't sure what that was going to look like. And so my career path really was, what's the best way to get a job when I get out of college, right?
Right.
And I also wanted to play in the NFL. I had that dream. Every guy who plays college football has a dream to play at the next level. And it didn't happen. It did not happen. But I was very fortunate because I earned my undergraduate degree on time. I had a 5th year of eligibility. The university actually approached me the athletic director came to me and said, why don't you apply for the MBA program? And I did. And I got accepted, and so I was working on my MBA the last year that I played, and we finished as a championship team, Peach Bowl champions, as you mentioned, and I wasn't alongside of Jim. I was actually in front of Jim because I was the starting center, and he was the quarterback. It's like tell people we were very close. We didn't use a shotgun. We didn't do shotgun very much back then, and I still stay in touch with Jim. Obviously, a Hall of Fame quarterback, and I played with a lot of great athletes and great guys. And the interesting thing about that experience, if I step back for a moment, is I had these great aspirations and goals. I wanted to be on the Bob Hope All-American show, right? I remember that show.
I am.
And I had teammates who were on there, who got on there, right? Because they were great athletes and All-Americans. And I never achieved that level. I wanted to be eligible for a Rhodes Scholarship. I didn't get quite the grades. I was, not quite there yet. Like a 3.25 or 3.5, whatever. And it wasn't quite, I had to be average, but wasn't quite there. And so I had these goals and aspirations that didn't stop me from moving forward. And then at the time I came out of school, I had an accounting degree. It just seemed like it made sense. Kind of influenced by my teammate's father and some advice he was giving us. And, the accounting firms were hiring. It was a big recession. It was a great big recession before the last great recession. And now we're in the middle of one now, I guess. But, and so I chose the accounting profession. It just seemed to make sense to me. And I excelled in that and grew in that. And really throughout my career, wanted to really focus on the people side of things and the leadership. I was really a student of leadership. And looking back, I was a leader in many organizations. I'm involved in a couple of, honor societies, honor fraternities in college. And those are leadership role. I took leadership roles in those, and throughout my career, I stood out as a leader. And sometimes I didn't know what being a leader meant. Like I had early on coaches tell me, "Be a leader." I didn't know what the hell they were talking about, right? And so I had to learn that. I had to learn that, to study that. And along the way, lots of mistakes and lots of things I could have done a lot better. But along the way, I've always had this desire to help others, to be a giver. And so I really was kind of thinking about, retirement and what I wanted to do with my life. And Along the way, I earned a black belt in Tai Chi and a master in meditation, and I taught people Tai Chi, and I would lead some retreats on top of a mountain, not a big mountain, but some retreats in the greater Atlanta area, Georgia. I ultimately came to Georgia with my career, and just loved it. Loved the discipline of it and everything, but also just the things that I learned from that helped me to be a better leader, better father, better husband, and I felt like I wanted to help people with that. And I honestly thought I was going to have a yoga and Tai Chi center. And when I retired. And so I've spent the last 7 years, actually, I can't believe it's been 7 years since I retired. I took early retirement. And it was something on my mind about when was the right time. Well, it's never really the right time, right? But I followed my heart and took about 6 months to enjoy some retirement and that, and then really started focusing on what the rest of my life and my career would be looking like. And with an idea of helping others and helping bring some principles that could really make a difference in their lives. And so that's what I'm doing today, and I love it.
Wow. So I want to go back for just a moment and kind of wind the clock back, because
Mm-hmm.
first of all, you've shared some great information, and I appreciate you giving us kind of your backstory and how you ended up where you are today. And I know there's more to that story, and we're going to fill in some of those blanks. But one of the things that just absolutely is astounding to me about what you shared was when you were younger, you had an amazing mindset around pushing through and not allowing what was happening around you to keep you from achieving, right? So you overcame some challenges early on. You were able to get over that wall, as an example, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And where where did that mindset come from? Did you have coaches? Did you have mentors? Were your parents instrumental in that?
It's a great question. And I've thought about that a lot, And, it's interesting that no, I did not have any coaches or people advising me, or I was the oldest of 5 kids. So I didn't have an older brother or anybody to look up to. And my dad worked 2 jobs typically all the time. So dad was always working hard. I learned my work ethic from dad, but he wasn't always there, right? And certainly didn't get it from my mom. And I think that it was kind of a coming of age thing for me. Physiologically, my body was changing, and I could have stayed in what I call a victim consciousness. I was a complainer, I was a whiner, I blamed other people or other situations, and really grew up in an environment like that. Okay, I mean, that was the environment I was growing up in. And outside the home, it was very competitive. And I was sharing a story with someone earlier today. I'd forgotten about it, but even earlier, when I was younger, I'd play some sandlot ball with guys in the neighborhood, right? And we lived right across the street from this huge field where the obstacle course was and the school was and everything. And so I remember playing. I forget how old I was. I wasn't very old, before junior high school, and I got to be the running back, and I got the ball and I got tackled. Right, I was running, and I got tackled, and guys, I kind of leaned on my one shoulder. It's my left shoulder. I landed kind of on my shoulder holding the ball, and didn't fumble. And so all of a sudden, like 3 guys piled onto me, right? Well, the third guy broke my collarbone, right? So they didn't have to do that, right? I mean, they were being kind of mean, right? And so, the environment wasn't like this touchy-feely environment. It was very competitive and that kind of thing. But I think it was just something struck me, right? Like the word, sometimes, you hear a comment from someone, you may not even know them, right? But they say something that just lands with you. Like I felt it. I felt it in my chest, actually. I look back on it, I kind of felt that in my body, right? How I got that awareness, I couldn't tell you, I'll call it divine intervention, that I was just open to hearing that or feeling that in my body, right? And really connecting with that. And it really caused me to stop and pause, because, it was a simple comment. It wasn't even directed at me. It was directed at really someone else in my group. and we all had these, different colored T-shirts based on our ability, physical ability. And we were in the bottom group. We had white T-shirts, and one of the guys in the gold T-shirts was the top group, and they're very athletic and very alpha male, right, kind of deal. Made a comment about us guys in the white T-shirts, really directed at one of the other guys in the group, but it just landed with me because it hit me that I'm not like that. Does not define me. And not that I was any better than other guys with white T-shirts, but it wasn't who I was. Mm. And really had this kind of awareness that you're no better than me, right? I hate bullies. Shouldn't hate anything, but I don't like bullies. I don't like people being, kind of trampled on, if you will, because at the end, I think we're all really, really the same in many ways. We all have our wants and desires, and we're all trying to figure out how to be the best we can be in this life that we have. I'll just say this, that I believe this. I didn't come up with this, but other people have said it. And I truly believe it. We're spiritual beings having a human existence, okay? Human experience. And so when they said that, it just really landed on me. And I went home and I remember just reflecting on that and thinking about that a lot. And it just occurred to me, you know what? I am worthy, and I am just as equal as you are. I'm going to prove it. And the way for me to prove it was to be able to learn how to get over that wall. That was really a physical metaphor, but also a physical reality of getting over that wall, because I didn't know how to do it. And at first, for weeks and weeks and weeks, I didn't know how to get over that wall. But I practiced and I worked hard, and I was just focused on doing that. And I think that was just a sort of divine intervention. It was just something landed in that moment.
It's a very powerful lesson, and it tells me a lot about you and why you have the success that you do today. So what are some of the most valuable lessons that you learned during your 30-plus year career that you didn't learn in business school that have helped you shape the work that you do today?
Mm-hmm. I learned that, we're all human beings, and we're all trying to figure our way out, our way through life. And what I learned is, and this was not easy for me because, as you can probably tell, I love to talk, but really listening very deeply, right, and very intently, and really getting the essence of what people are really, the words that aren't spoken, right, the unspoken words, or what is the real essence of what they're trying to get across, and kind of putting myself in their shoes. And I think as a leader, I think back to I knew some great leaders and great coaches, and read about some, knew some, also worked for and played for some not so great leaders. And what I really took away from that was, number one, that you got to be authentic. You've got to be really, truly who you are. They don't teach you this in school, right? You got to be authentic. You got to be real, and just be yourself. So not everybody's the same. Everybody has a different style. But being authentic and then actually caring about the other people, right? Being empathetic to some extent, but just, having compassion for other people and what maybe they're going through, and really listening to them, and realizing everybody has value, right? Everybody has value. And the leader's job, really, one of the toughest jobs, is understanding, where does this person fit into my and in a business setting, where does this person fit into my organization? What's their, I'll call it their zone of genius, if you will, their area they really can excel at and really contribute, so that they feel fulfilled as well. And sometimes that's just not a fit, right? Sometimes that's the case. But being able to really lean in and listen to people and understand where they're coming from, and and understand that not everybody has all the answers, and know that the leader, you don't have to have all the answers. I mean, sometimes I think we get into a trap of, I have to know everything, right? I always have to be right? And it's really not the case. It's listen to other people, listen to feedback, listen to what they're saying, really listen, let silence do the heavy lifting. And also, having goals for yourself and setting a direction for yourself, but also if you're guiding or leading a team, setting the direction for the team. They be the leader they want you to be, right? And I mean, I think about great leaders or good leaders. They're people that really just listened. They had clear vision. I was interesting. I love history and I love biographies. And I was watching the biography about General Grant, U.S. Grant.
Mhm.
And his expertise and his zone of genius was on a battlefield. He was super calm, and he knew the strategic points that he had to defend and where he could attack and how to best deploy his men. And he was relentless. He was relentless. He would not. He would never yield. He would never yield. And and so those kinds of lessons, I think, play out for all of us.
Mm.
I just wrote I have a weekly newsletter I send out to my list, and I just wrote an article today about never giving up and never giving up, and how even when you're facing all kinds of adversity, what defines a winner and a loser? Well, the winners never quit. I mean, if you're a loser, if you quit, you're done. That's it. You automatically lose if you quit,
Yeah.
in many, many ways. And ever since that epiphanal moment for me, I've never been a quitter. Never been a quitter. And I've been challenged many times to quit, and I've never been a quitter.
Well, I love that. And also what you just brought up about remaining calm in the face of crisis or
Mm.
adversity, things that we all deal with, stressful situations. And that is ever apparent in today's political climate. So I want to shift for just a moment,
Mm-hmm.
because you are a certified brain management consultant, and I'm curious, what does a brain management consultant do?
Well, I'll tell you what cannot do. Cannot do surgery. So sounds very sciencey, right? But so it's interesting. My certification, my black belt, and my achievement of the level of master in meditation is through an organization where I got that certification. So really, it's about, and the theory behind this is really all the martial arts and things around mindfulness is understanding how the brain functions and how we can affect our emotions and our brain function and really to be the best that we can be. And so, there's 5 stages of the brain development, that kind of thing, going from, sensitizing, just kind of connecting with your body all the way through mastery.
Mm.
And so that certification was as a result of all the work that I did. I mean, I spent weeks. I mean, I've spent week-long, 7 to 8 or 9 day trainings in Arizona and Sedona, meditation retreats and Tai Chi retreats. I've literally been to the top of a mountain, not a very big mountain, but some mountains, and meditating in a couple parts of the world. And I've trained with some of the top leaders, I'll call them teachers. Guru is not really a good word. It's not the word that really fits them, but they're teachers, right? And they are so accomplished at being able to do this. And what I learned through all of that, the essence of what I learned through all of that was that I can quickly calm my mind and calm my body in a way that helps me to be the best leader I can be. And along the way, I was growing up, I suffered from anxiety, still do really, but I've learned how to manage that. And it's just a way to kind of lower your brain waves and understand the science too around this, right? Brain waves and different states that you can be in. There's so much of our brain we don't use, really. What's 90% or 85% of our brains we typically don't use, that scientists tell us. And so there's all this capacity we have, and really it was just about kind of clearing away the clutter, being able to be more calm and focused, and complete body awareness. So for example, if you watch a martial artist, and if you've ever seen a martial artist, breaking bricks with their fist or through wood or walls or whatever, what they're really doing is they're channeling all of their energy, all of their focus into a single point on their hand, to put all their energy into that point and have complete mastery over their energy and their body. So, a brain management consultant really understands the different layers of the brain, how they function, and how we can be the best we can be through some very simple and useful techniques and tools. You don't have to be a black belt in Tai Chi to achieve some calmness and clarity in your life, extreme clarity, I like to call it. And you can do it very quickly and very easily. And that's part of what I help people and teach them.
So we certainly want to delve a little deeper into that. I'm curious, how did you step into the world of Tai Chi? It, just kind of walk us through that, if you will, and give us the thumbnail sketch, because clearly that's had a significant impact on your life and on the work that you do today.
Absolutely. Well, I was managing partner. We were transforming our business. Our business was growing like crazy in Atlanta, and we were just totally growing like crazy. And we were adding new clients, and we were hiring new people, and really changing the direction of our practice and the clients we served, and the complexity and all of that. And did it with a great team of people. And I was asked to be the leader of that group. And we just did an amazing job over a period of time. We doubled the practice. And of course, during that time frame was a lot of stress, a lot of stress. And I was typically very physical. I mean, I would work out a few times a week, and I would jog and those kinds of things. Loved to play golf. And so I noticed, though, that my body, I had a lot of physical pain in my body, and I was kind of achy and just kind of felt kind of ugh. And I kept saying to myself, I need to find some yoga or something. But everything that was a yoga class was at a certain, 10 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock at night. And I knew I could not make it to those things, given all the demands of my profession and my responsibility. So, but one day I was in a meeting in Midtown Atlanta, 2 blocks from my office. And I was walking from that meeting back to my office. And in the first level in the lobby, there was a sign, big sign, and it was a yoga and Tai Chi studio right there. And I said, huh. So I walked in, and I met a nice Korean gentleman, dressed all in black. And I was kind of surprised because I didn't see a lot of Lululemon or any of that stuff hanging on the walls or any that kind of stuff. And so I said, well, this is not really my idea of a yoga center, but let me check this out. And we were sitting in a meeting in the training room, and there was a big, big banner on the wall. And the banner said the banner said Tai Chi, the way to limitless energy. Find your center. I looked up at that and I said, gosh, that really resonated with me. And I was a center in college, as I said before. So I did some research online, and I saw these really cool demonstrations of these martial artists practicing Tai Chi, and also the sword form, which is really cool. And so I came to him and I said, I want to do that. And so we began practicing and training, and there's 12 levels to achieve in that. And so I'm very goal oriented, and I love challenges. So I really worked through those 12 levels, and it took me about 1.5 years to earn the status of a black belt. And what I got out of it was the essence of the training, of really being in my core, being centered, totally centered, and in my body. And people hear that and they may say, well, what do you mean? Well, our brains are constantly thinking and working, and sometimes we get a little distracted, and we kind of forget about our bodies. Our mind can be anywhere, really. We could be in 1,000 different places, right? And our body, though, is physically right here in the present moment. And so when we disconnect from that connection between our body and our brain, you've heard the term, mind, body, and spirit. So when we disconnect, we're not really listening to our body, things can happen to us. Our body's always giving us information, always, providing information to us. So when we're able to consciously connect, and a lot of times we're living our lives unconsciously, really. So it's increasing our awareness and our consciousness to really connect with our body and be in the present moment. And so I really just fell in love with this practice. And about 1.5 years later, I became a black belt, and also was able to teach classes and that. And I would kind of do a late night class or a Saturday morning class, kind of moonlighting when I could. And then go off and do these retreats, and really, one of the cool things, I got to train with the top master in Tai Chi. It's a Korean form of Tai Chi that we practiced. And we were literally at the foothills of the Colorado Rockies in the snow doing Tai Chi. And I thought it was just so cool. And something happened in that moment that I want to share. Not a big thing, but during the training, it was an early morning. We train all day long, but early in the morning we were training. And we were inside at this time, and the master came up behind me. And he said to me, he's the top master in the world in this form called Dan Mu Do. And he came up behind me and he said, where are you? I said, I'm right here. He says, no, you're not. Check yourself. So my mind was somewhere else.
Mm.
And it was a wake up call, right? I was, I was tired and I was, feel a little sore or whatever. And my mind was just somewhere else. I wasn't focused. And so, and I think that really applies to all of us, right? We can have our minds in so many places. And nowadays, with all the information we are bombarded with, we could be in information overload big time,
Yeah.
right? And so we have to find a way to cut through all that clutter, really ground ourselves. I mean, physically ground ourselves, okay, and just bring ourselves back to the present moment and clear our mind. And that's what I'm helping people do.
Amazing. So, did you start meditating prior to this, about the same time, or after you started Tai Chi?
I mean, I really didn't know. I'd never done any martial arts before. I never really did any meditation. I did prayer. I
Mhm.
practice prayer and pray, and certainly physical activity, walking or I used to run quite a bit. Actually, I used to run in the Peachtree Road Race, which is a 10K every year on July 4th, and until I started having a lot of physical issues around that, but overuse injuries. Moving your body is really important, and really connecting to your body and being in that moment. Sometimes our mind can wander. It's also a great time. I mean, I had clients that loved to run. That was their way of sort of recharging themselves. And they were runners in college, and so they would run, and that would kind of clear their head, and they could get all these inspirations and ideas, in those moments. I never practiced any of that beforehand, and so it was all new to me. And first, I mean, I'll say, I mean, it took me some time to really get the essence of it, to really to feel it, and to really appreciate it. But what I noticed was over a period of time, it takes really about 6 to 12 months to really integrate and master to a degree everything that you're learning in that process. And certainly, you're always learning. So mastery is a thing you're always trying to achieve, right? You're never complete. And so it's the journey, right? It's the journey.
That's right.
It's the movement towards that goal. That I think is most meaningful. And what I noticed was my productivity went up dramatically. Emotionally, I did not react to situations the same. I had much more calm in my life, and I did not react to situations the same. And I became a better leader, as I said before, and a better father and a better husband, and more mindful and more appreciative, more gratitude, and series of meditation and training, and also learning some techniques around gratitude and breathing. Breathing is so important. And that was one thing that I could catch myself. It was one thing I really noticed. When I was under stress, I would stop breathing, actually. Like I'd catch myself not breathing, right? Fully awake, not breathing. And so I learned to be very mindful around that, and really deep breathing really into the body deeply. And so it was something I'd never practiced before, but something that just made so much sense to me. And not what people told me, is what my own experience was.
Today, you incorporate a lot of the teachings and
Mm-hmm.
many of the things that you've learned through your Tai Chi experiences and meditation and so forth. You teach a lot of these techniques to top executives, business leaders, and the like.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get practical here for a
Mm-hmm.
moment. What are some of the practical and actionable exercises that we can do that would help us in achieving more clarity, more calmness in our
Mm-hmm.
lives, and to be able to see better results in our business?
Absolutely. And let me preface that real quickly with a couple of, benefits, real life benefits. So I have a client that I've been working with for about 2.5 years now. And early on, we just focused really on the mindfulness aspect of things. It evolved into complete business planning and coaching. And I think this year will have doubled his business in less than 3 years, basically. Another client that I'm working with right now has some specific milestones to achieve in his business, economic milestones, and he is knocking it out of the park, Both these guys are having a great year this year, by the way. And other executives that I've helped, and they've elevated their position. They've achieved the position they were looking for. They've doubled their income, doubled their salary, helping them just really kind of focus on the kind of things that we're going to start with. And here's the thing. The things that I can, it's interesting, right? There's no overnight success. No such thing as an overnight success. But to start, and getting started, that's something you can do right now. And that's the beginning of that process. So a couple of things that are really we can do, and to practice a couple of really, useful techniques. One is many times I coach, you think about what is our highest and best state, emotionally, right? Energetically. It's being in a state of joy and gratitude. And these practices will help you achieve that or help you do that. But also there's some simple things you can do. Keep a gratitude journal, right? Or just wake up in the morning and what are 3 things you're grateful for that are coming up that day or that morning? Or at the end of the day, what are 3 things you're grateful for that happened during the day? So putting ourselves in that state of gratitude can really shift a lot of things. And in addition to that, you don't need to spend a lot of time. You do not need to spend a lot of time. You do not need to be a black belt in Tai Chi. You don't spend weeks like I did. I spent lots of money and lots of time learning all these techniques over a decade of training and learning and growing. But you can very quickly tap into some very useful things that are going to help you. And if you'd like to, we can do something right now.
Let's do it.
Okay, good. So what I want you to do is to relax. I want you to, first of all, kind of make sure you're sitting up straight in your chair and make sure your feet are flat on the floor. Okay. And that's a physical representation of actually grounding yourself by feeling your feet on the floor. And place your hands on your knees and your palms facing up.
Okay.
And I want you to close your eyes. I'm going to guide you through a process. It's going to take a few minutes.
Okay.
And all I want you to do is to focus on your breath. Focus on your breathing. And gently breathe in through your nose. Exhale slowly through your mouth. You can count to 3 or 4 or 5 if you want. So breathing in gently through your nose. Hold for a moment. Exhale through your mouth. Breathe in deeply. Exhale through your mouth. Continue breathing that way. I just want you to feel the bottom of your feet first. So make sure your feet are grounded. Relax your shoulders. Relax the tension in your body as you continue to breathe in and exhale through your mouth. Continue to feel your chest rise and fall with each breath. Notice what you feel in your body. What sensations do you feel in your body? Do you feel some tension? Do you feel tired? Are you alert? Feel some warmth? Maybe even some pain somewhere in your body. Just notice that. Don't avoid it. Just notice that. And breathe in gently through your nose. Continue to exhale through your mouth. And just raise your palms a few inches above your knees. And I want you to focus your attention now on the center of your palms. Focus on your palms. 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 You can rotate your palms, sort of small circles. Feel the center of your palms. Keep bringing your focus and your attention to your palms. As you do this, continue to breathe in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. And slowly return your palms, your hands back to your knees, palms facing up. Continue to feel sensations in your chest as your chest rise and fall. Feel the breath moving into your body. Feel everything in your body. Good, good, good. And then breathe in deeply. Exhale. Breathe in, begin to bring your consciousness back. Breathe in and then exhale. One more time, breathe in and breathe out. Jay, you can open your eyes now. You can relax. And what did you feel? What did you notice or experience?
A couple of things. First, a lightness, just a lightness in my body. I wouldn't say weightlessness, but just less weight. And also a warmth that I felt throughout my body. And certainly a state of calm, which I'm trying to piece that together. I believe it was a combination of the deep breathing, focusing on my palms. So trying to, as you described, right, just that laser focus in one area and listening to your voice. So I was very focused on the palms, but I could hear your voice guiding me, and all of that combined, without thinking, all of that combined created those feelings.
Excellent. Excellent. Very good. Many times, sometimes it's really hard when we first, and I was this way, when I first started out, I couldn't feel anything. Okay. I gave it a master say, be in the feeling. Like, what are you talking about? So it's, everybody's at a different place, right? But being able to connect with those feelings in your body means that you're able to clear your mind rather quickly. And really, by connecting into your body, you're really in the present moment. And in the present moment is where all things are created. We spend a lot of time. I'm like I said, I have anxiety. I'm a worrier. I spend a lot of times. I'm very visionary too, so I spend a lot of time looking into the future. Right. I don't spend a lot of time wallowing or thinking about the past. And sometimes some of us do. We kind of reminisce, and maybe there's some event that we kind of keep focusing on. Right. And none of those things are not in the present moment. They're either happened or they haven't happened. Right. You can't change what happened, and you're not there yet in the future, so you can't really change that. But all you can do to create the future that you want, or get close to that future you want, is what action do you take right now in the present moment? Right now in the present moment. And it's so important. So I know too that myself, I have my moments, right? We're all human, and I know, like, if I've been on the computer working and writing all day and creating, I get burned out at some point, right? And I have to get up and either go take a 2-mile walk, or I go to the driving range, or do some Tai Chi. I typically try to do that first thing in the morning for myself. And I have this whole little routine that I do, and that's very efficient. And by just taking 5 minutes in the morning, right? So let me ask you this, Jay. The first thing you do when you get up in the morning, what do you do? Besides, normal functions you have to do. What's the first thing you pick up or look at when you get up in the morning?
First thing I do is a gratitude practice.
Awesome.
And yeah.
Awesome.
So even before I get out of bed, one of the first thoughts that comes to my mind is, what am I grateful for?
Great.
So I get out of bed, and my routine is to drink water first thing in the morning. As soon as I get up, after I think about what I'm grateful for, I go to my office, and I do have a gratitude journal that I write in each day. And sometimes it may be one line, sometimes it may be 10, sometimes it may be a page. But it helps me to set the tone for the day and focus on the things that truly are important. And then I read. So there's different types of books that I read from, again, to put my mindset in the right place, so I'm ready to show up and I'm ready to own the day. And at that point, I usually very quickly check to make sure that are there any important emails that came through, anything that I need to be cognizant of. And I make sure not to do that first thing
Right.
because I don't want a situation to control my day. I don't want somebody else to co-op what
Right.
I need to do and the way that I want to show up. And then I work out and then I meditate. So I should have
Awesome.
prefaced your meditation practice by saying that I have been meditating for
Great.
practicing meditating
Right.
for a number of years, and it has
Awesome.
been a life changer.
Well, you just gave some great training to all of your listeners and viewers of this video because that's exactly what you need to be doing, right? I mean, I know so many people. I was in an interview several years ago on a radio broadcast, and um, I asked the question of the host because she was asking me a couple of questions about, well, people really, we're all busy and everybody knows how to calm themselves. Okay, what's the first thing you do in the morning? Well, I pick up my cell phone or my iPhone or whatever, right? My smartphone, right? And it's like, no, see, we want to, like you said, we don't want to get derailed. Now, if you're expecting an important phone call or there's a vital email or you're getting a call from Europe or wherever that is going to, of course you want to be on that, right? But normally we don't have to. And so email is a big time waster many times. A lot of emails really not important. So really focusing intentionally on drinking water, hydrating is important. Before that, even making sure you get plenty of rest, right? Plenty of rest. I mean, I had a CEO client tell me once she was not really sleeping well. And I said, well, what's going on? She said, well, I got this going on, that going on. She goes, but we don't really need to have that much sleep as we get older. I said, no, wrong. You need as much sleep now as you did when you were younger, probably even more so. Our body needs time to recharge and rest. You need to have at least 7 to 9 hours, right? That's so important. Hydrating is important. And making sure you hydrate during the day because we can lose a lot of fluids. And then also taking that just, 5 minutes, 5 minutes for yourself, just to start to build that muscle. And all you have to do is focus on what we just did a moment ago, your breathing. Just focus on your breathing for 5 minutes. Don't even try to have any kind of goal with this when you first start out. Don't try to create something, whatever. Just you want to clear away the clutter. You want to be in touch with your body. Be in touch with your body. And those are really useful things that you can do very quickly. You can do it in the morning, anytime during the day, anywhere. It's easy to do. It's simple. Anytime, anywhere you can use it. But I recommend first thing in the morning and towards the end of the day, right before you go to bed, typically, just take 5 minutes and clear that out. You can also include a gratitude journal or thinking about what you're grateful for or what you're grateful for that day. Really important because it helps to set your energy. And everything's vibration. Everything's vibrational, right? We talk about quantum. You can get all quantum mechanics here for a moment, but everything's vibrating at different frequencies. And our emotions are a very high frequency. Our voice, obviously, sound is vibration, and light, probably the highest vibration that we know of right now in science. And so everything's vibrating and moving, right? And you want to be able to raise your vibrational level through your mindset, through your being in a state of gratitude and appreciating everything. Even when things are really down, find something to be grateful for. Because typically, my experience is someone else typically is probably worse off than you are right now too. Yeah. So having that appreciation, that compassion, and also gratitude for yourself, compassion for others can really help to raise your vibrational quality. And it helps you to be what I like to say is be your best self. Be at your best. Sometimes we're not always there.
Yeah, I truly do love that. And it's interesting. There's been so much research done and so much more research available to us on the benefits of meditating, the benefits of deep breathing, the benefits of taking some time for ourselves, those 5 minutes as an example that you mentioned. In the past, it may have been considered woo-woo type science, but not so anymore, in the fact that the work that you do today, your clients are seeing significant results, and these are high level, high performing CEOs and other business leaders that are doing this, and it's having an impact, a positive impact on their lives and on their business. That tells us something.
Absolutely.
So we have to we have to pay attention to that.
We really do. And there's some very famous people that practice meditation on a regular basis. Ray Dalio,
Mhm.
very well known, as a hedge fund and very successful businessman, entrepreneur, and wrote a book called Principles, I think it was. And he's a
Yes.
big practitioner, and many other people that are very successful in their lives use these are techniques, these are methods. And sometimes, like you mentioned, woo woo, right? Sometimes we kind of get hung up on that. And I was in a one of my mentors is Jack Canfield, and mentioned success principles earlier, and that's Jack Canfield's success principles training, based on his book, The Success Principles. And I've used that for a number of years as I coach and work with people. And so I decided to make it official and achieve that certification only because I wanted to add some more content to what I was doing and sharing. And as
Sure.
as a leader, you want to be a leader and a thought leader. You need to keep growing and keep adding to your base of knowledge and the things you can deliver to people and help them. And but I was in an interview with Jack a couple of years ago, and Jack and I were talking about this very thing, and he said, "Well, the world needs more woo-woo." So I'm trying to bring woo-woo to the business world.
There you go. Yeah.
In a meaningful way.
Advice. Good
And it's not
advice.
just meditation, right? Because we focus on goal setting and planning and being intentional and setting really breakthrough goals, right? BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goals are going to be breakthroughs for us in our lives, either personally or in our profession. And it's all about not just about business, it's relationships and it's family and it's recreational time, because it's all so many aspects of our lives. And I really try to integrate all that into a program that can help you be the best you can be.
Yeah, fantastic. So you had a significant life-changing event that happened at the end of 2018.
That's right.
Can you share with us a bit about that event and what did you learn through it?
Yeah, great. Thanks for asking. So here I was, it was 2018. I had written a book that was the #1 new release and bestseller on Amazon. And my wife and I had a wonderful trip to Ireland in October that year. And it was right around the holiday time. And I was in a meeting with a client, and I passed out in December. It was December 12th. And I just passed out. And he thought I was kind of joking, and he kind of nudged me a little bit. He pushed my shoulder and I didn't move. And he ran and got help. The director of the facility was just getting ready to leave the building, and they called him in, and he ran in, he saw I was non-responsive, and he began to administer CPR to me. And fortunately, he had been a life flight EMT in his past, and he had administered CPR to over 100 people in his past. And so he was an expert. And he, without assistance, without stopping, he administered CPR to me for about 25 minutes. And during that period of time, they brought in the defibrillator. They had one on site, and that went off about 5 times to recharge my heart. My heart had stopped beating, and I'd stopped breathing. That's why I passed out. And I was very fortunate. They got me to a sinus rhythm. I was taken by EMTs to the hospital and put into a hypothermic coma, where I woke up a few days later in ICU, and there, my bedside were my wife and my daughter. And I said, "What happened?" I didn't know. And what did I learn from this? What do I take away from the situation? I was pushing myself too hard. I had a lot of goals for myself, a lot of really just big visions for myself. I was pushing myself too hard. I wasn't getting enough rest. I was under a lot of stress. And I didn't make my health was part of my value system, but it wasn't at the top of my list or near the top of my list. And so what I learned was my body was telling me it's time to stop. Time to stop. Now I was very fortunate because doctors said I had less than a 10% chance of survival. Most people who went through what I went through did not survive. And I was able to come through it and come out of it. What I learned was that I needed to pull back. I had to take some of my own medicine, right? I had to step back and really just focus on what's most important. So I made my health my #1 goal. My 2019, my health, recovery of my health was my breakthrough goal for 2019. And so I didn't do much. I wasn't working very much at the beginning of the year. I spoke at one event in February that year, but wasn't doing much work. I was really just focusing on my health, recovering my health, and I had an opportunity to speak at the Small Business Matters conference in Atlanta in May last year, and that really kind of got me back into the game.
Okay.
And at the same time, I was seeing a cardiologist regularly, and in May they did some testing, and he said, you really have improved dramatically in your health. Fast forward to May this year, and he was looking, and we did it virtually actually, and he was able to look at some information online. He said, you know what? I don't know what happened to you in 2018, but your heart is fine. There's your irregular heartbeat has been abated. It's gone, and you're really healthy. And so just keep doing what you're doing, and I'll see you next year. And so great news, right? And so, but I put my family through hell. I can tell you right now. I mean, my wife was at a women's luncheon when this all happened, right next door to where I was having a meeting, and so she witnessed the whole thing. And so my family really was there, and our friends were really there for us. And so, the power of prayer and intention by all of our family and friends really made a difference. And for me to step back and really just focus on my health and make that number one value. Whatever we value most are the things that we're going to strive for and work towards.
That's right.
And so I really made that my number one value, and I was able to achieve that goal, but also give myself grace, and make sure I get plenty of rest. And to not, I can put pressure on myself all the time. I'm very goal driven, as you can tell. Throughout my life, I've been very goal driven, but it's allowing myself grace. When I feel like I need to push back and go take a walk down by the lake, go do it. The work will still be there. The work will still be there. And so it's given me a better appreciation for life. Every day is a gift, right? Every day is a gift. I was asked by several people, did you see any white lights? No, I didn't. I did not. But I'm here for a reason, and following just kind of drove home more my passion and purpose about what I am trying to do to help busy executives and business leaders be the best they can be, and be the best they can be, enjoy their life now, have more freedom, and really focus on what matters most.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that story. It's, it's amazing how when we look at things that happen in our lives, we can either look at them as a gift or we can look at them as a curse. And in your case, I know you look at that as a gift because it certainly did open your eyes and shifted some necessary priorities around for you. So
absolutely.
Again, thank you for sharing that. So before I ask my final question to you, it's amazing how quickly the time goes.
Having a blast, I know.
As am I. Where can we connect with you?
Absolutely. You can reach me directly at john@johnjfenton.com. It's my email address. You can go to my website, johnjfenton.com. Lots of information there. Also, for everybody watching and listening, I have some great gifts for them. Putting to practice two very useful tools that you can put into practice right away. They're very easy to use, kind of following what we did earlier today. It's called the 5-minute shift and the 10-minute reset. And you can go to bit.ly/the 5-minute shift, the number 5. So the 5-minute shift. It's a downloadable PDF, got a step-by-step process of a 5-minute meditation, and also the 10-minute reset is an audio recording where I can guide you through a little deeper meditation to really help you reset the day.
Right.
And those are free gifts for people. And then also you have an opportunity to be on my, start receiving my weekly newsletter. This week for me, Lead. And I'm sharing insights on leadership and how to be the best leader you can be, and also success principles that can make a difference for you in your life.
Outstanding. And we will make sure that we link to each of those on the show notes. And thank you very much for being gracious and sharing that with our listeners. So here is my final question to you, John.
Yeah. The zinger, is this going to be a zinger?
Well, we always want to make sure we end with a thoughtful question.
Got it. Got it.
So,
I'm ready. I'm ready.
all right, fantastic. So, what one or two lessons have you learned through failure that have had a massive impact on your life and the work that you're doing today?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think about this a lot. And I have to say, it's never give up. Never give up. Have faith in what it is you want to accomplish. Believe that you can accomplish it,
Hmm.
and then never give up. Those two things together, that desire and that faith, those three things, desire, the faith, and then just persistence and never giving up, makes all the difference. Winners, like I said before, winners, they keep going. Losers quit. Just the fact that they quit means they've lost already, right? So always keep, finding new ways, keep moving forward on your vision for yourself. Have a vision for yourself, that desire, for your family, for your legacy, and just never give in, never give up.
Love it. Fantastic. And thank you so very much for joining us today on Business Minds Coffee Chat, John. I really do appreciate it. I enjoyed our conversation a while back, and I've been really enjoyed digging into your content and learning more about you. And I'm grateful for you. So thank
Yeah.
you.
Well, I'm grateful to you for having me on. I really appreciate it, Jay. This has been a lot of fun.
Absolutely. It is my pleasure. And for the rest of you, thank you very much for watching. And if you found value in this episode, please like and share with your friends, and be sure to subscribe to this channel. And until next time, stay healthy and optimistic. Keep learning and growing. Take some time to breathe, as John said.
That's right.
And remember that transformative change in your life and business always begins with you, and absolutely nothing happens until you take action. And we'll see you on the next episode of Business Minds Coffee Chat. Take care.